just going to start by saying hello, my name is Moriah Bray. I am from your town, Florida, and I'm an MFA student at GCSU concentrating in poetry.
Hello, my name is Moriah Bray, and I'm from Lake Pasofsky, Florida. I'm a poetry MFA candidate here at Georgia College and State University. I usually write poetry that is influenced by identity, the Mexican-American diaspora, and some queer themes make their way into my poetry as well. My thesis right now is a book-length manuscript on how language can put us into in-groups and out-groups. It merges the languages of English and Spanish. When my readers read the poetry, I hope that it forces them to think about identity in a way that they might not have to on a day-to-day basis. If they've never struggled to belong to a group, I hope that it challenges them to step outside of their own box and see what that experience might be like. Inextricable. En la ciudad de mi padre hay una iglesia. I never prayed, bowed head, kissing palms beneath its steeple. No aprendo a cantar en latín. Never drank wine ni sangre hasta que tenía 21. In my town, there were 4 churches, 2 liquor stores, 0 stoplights. God was aflame. Pero no había humo, ni incienso, ni masa. Algunos domingos había un hombre who played a saw with a violin bow y una mujer ciega who sang poorly, but we called it beautiful. We are both from ranch lands, donde los vaqueros, manada, ganado, crecen heno. Maybe for every watermelon I ate in summer, comió jicama. We both moved a la playa para oportunidades mejores, educación, trabajo, his nominal mastery of English advantageous in a tourist town. Fui a uno y luego a otro. Tal vez estaba buscando para él. I drank the wind, the dregs of sea from conch shells on a foreign coast. A veces pregunto si el mismo sol se estaba poniendo on his sand, el mismo sal filling his lungs. I started writing when I was 10 years old. My mom never finished high school. She got her GED and she got married very young at 16 years old. She went back to school in her early 30s to try to finish an AA degree. She never actually finished it because she got pregnant with me. But she still had some textbooks from when she had gone to community college, and she kept those in our basement. And on that bookshelf, I found a textbook of hers from when she did a literature course, and inside was a poem by Robert Frost, The Road Not Taken. I think that's the title of it. Does that sound right to you? Okay. I read that poem over and over and over again to the point that I accidentally memorized it. And when I went to school, I told all of my friends, you know, the ones who were nerdy enough to care about this. I made a little poetry group, and we kind of had like a workshop setting. We would meet during lunchtime, maybe like every other week, and share poems that we had written. And that's when it all started. I've always loved Robert Creeley. He writes pretty concise little poems, almost like the kind of thing that you would expect to find on the back of a bar napkin. He has one called Some Echoes, where he describes the light behind a lover's eyes fading away, and that being kind of like the distance growing between the two of them. That becomes kind of insurmountable and forces the relationship to come to a conclusion. It's like the moment before a relationship ends when you know that it's going to be ending. He has a lot of poems like that that are lyrical in nature but have a narrative just under the surface. Right now I'm working a lot on the poet Rosario Castellanos, who is a Mexican writer. She's known for her novels as well as her poetry. I brought her book with me today. It was in translating her work that I first started writing my poems, switching between English and Spanish, even in a single line. So I owe a great debt to her. I never saw myself writing poetry in two languages. El Delfin. There is una leyenda about dolphins, sobre un anillo de luz sin fin, about us, before we were us, before we had legs, antes de hablamos con lenguas. Es un sueño antiguo, from so long ago none of us remember. De cuando nacimos, our first breaths submarino. You were there and I was there, y las mentiras no existían. We couldn't hide, every thought desnudo, intenciones puras. There was nothing to forgive. Pero lo dejamos. Why did we give it up? I started taking pictures in undergrad. It was a very stressful time. I had this friend, Taylor, who was big into photography. She still does it today. She actually does it semi-professionally at this point. She's very good. In undergrad, I bought myself like a little Fujifilm digital camera and started wandering around with her and snapping pictures of things. And she told me that I had a good eye. So it's something that I've kept up with. I would never call myself a photographer. It really is strictly a hobby. It's a creative outlet that I don't have to take as seriously as my writing. Writing often feels like work to me in a way that taking pictures doesn't. I had never really been a karaoke singer. I had sung in school and in church growing up. I sang in chorus from 6th grade until 9th, and then I joined the marching band and I couldn't do both. And I sang in college. I interned at an Episcopalian church and I learned to sing in Latin and German and French. So singing has always been part of my life, but performing in front of people has not been. Solo performances at least.
So this is not the opportunity to meditate as a singer?
I would prefer not to sing right now. I was just talking, I had a thesis meeting this morning with Laura Newbern, and I was talking to her about this, about my experience in the program. One thing that I've always appreciated about working here at Georgia College is the students. It's not a competitive environment. It's not cutthroat. Workshops here are places where we collaborate in order to make someone's writing the best that it possibly can be. We all want the best for one another, and I think that's kind of rare in a lot of writing programs. I think there is a competitive nature that can drive people apart, but here I think we come together and support one another. Something I wish I had known is that the first year is really a practice year. I think so much of the work in the first year is discovering your voice as a writer. Don't be afraid the first year to just kind of find your grounding in this place, in this program, in this department, and let the writing kind of evolve naturally on its own. Now I think my poems take on a much more narrative shape. There's more story present in them than I had ever written before coming here. Only. There was a rooftop bathing pool at the house in Puerto Vallarta, filled with blue tiles and rain. The branches of a mango tree shivered near the edge of the square bath, and still there was never a mango bobbing inside. En la noche, cuando quería estar solo, subiría la escalera de caracol de hierro. You were somewhere below, buried under layers of ceiling, while I was stripping, naked in the twilight over the city. Yo estaba atravesando la superficie del agua, una onda que irradiaba de la punta del pie sumergido. Then I was everywhere. Las estrellas encima México se agitaron dentro de la bañera conmigo, and you didn't exist for an eternal second. Only light and dark and water, only me una estrella soltera afloat.
Thank you. Do you know any jokes?
Yes.
You want to tell one?
Why did the skeleton not cross the road?
Why?
He didn't have the guts.